What's up, guys? Welcome to the first episode of Caffeinated Conversations. I'm Martin Trumbull, and I'm joined with my co-hosts, Caleb Larson and Jade Goth. And to start the conversation off, we're going to crack a bubbler. I've got an orange bubbler. Yeah, orange Dream Freezer. What do y'all got?
Watermelon lime.
Come on.
Yeah, I also got watermelon lime smasher specifically. Natural caffeine.
Yeah.
Bro, I like how they leave the E's out. Freezer. Smasher.
Well, okay, but they got them in watermelon and lime, but it's smasher. How does that make any sense?
I don't know.
But let's do it. Ready?
Branding, that's how.
Bro. Should we crack it?
Oh, gosh.
Right.
How do I?
3, 2, 1.
No, yours exploded. Hey, cheers, bro.
Hey, I didn't get it on the Bible, though.
Cheers. You ain't gonna let you.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you ain't gonna hang me up.
Right? Cheers. I think that was just a finger touch. That was kind of weird. Yo.
I gotta go. Bro, no way. I'll be back.
Solid. We were doing so well.
I thought we were adults, bro. I just lost my audio.
Yeah, for some reason I can't hear Caleb anymore.
I can't hear anything anymore. For those of you who don't know what just happened, because you're listening.
Oh, that's ASMR all the way.
For those of you who are listening, Caleb went to take a swig of his bubbler, and the whole thing went everywhere, all over his hoodie.
Mine exploded right off the bat. His was a delayed explosion.
Yeah. Oh, I'm back.
Nice.
Guess who's back?
Back again.
Back again. Shoot. Okay, we're new at this. This is the first episode. I don't know how to sit. I'm using we only have 2 of the same microphones, so mine is different, and it's weak.
We're gonna have to put a blooper section at the end.
Yeah. Bro.
You good?
He's back.
Yeah.
Come on.
Do you guys have first sips without me?
Maybe.
Because I tried, it didn't work.
Yeah, I did.
I don't hear anything.
I hear all of that.
Yeah, I can hear that too. All right.
That's
This is not
disgusting.
that is gross. That is out of place.
Says the man who slurped this far from his microphone.
But it wasn't like that. He's swishing it around in his teeth. You know, caffeination. Do you know that's actually bad for your teeth?
Oh.
It's going to destroy those jobs.
Caffeination is?
And that's one of the not caffeination.
Carbonation.
Is it
CO2.
carbonation?
Yes, CO2 is bad for your teeth.
And bad for the atmosphere.
And that's one of the first things that people judge you by is your smile.
My teeth are nice and yellow, so I don't think no CO2 is going to hurt my impression. Unless that's why they're yellow.
Shoot, maybe.
Shoot, maybe.
All right, what are we talking about today?
Bro, so we kind of, perhaps we're talking about dissatisfied.
That was so smooth.
Perhaps. I think we talk about dissatisfaction. Like generally, what does that look like in life? You know?
To be dissatisfied?
Yeah, and it's a very wide range.
What it looks like is we planned this whole thing. We planned the name. We planned the concept. We're going to crack a bubbler. And on the first go, it goes all over your hoodie.
Yeah. I'm really dissatisfied.
I'm dissatisfied with how this
Hey, why are you dissatisfied with me? I mean, truly, that is it's unmet expectations, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you do you got to lower your expectations? You got to just get better expectations, or just have no expectation? What?
Well, yeah, I think obviously you should have no expectations.
0.
Whatsoever.
Yeah, just get rid of
Just
them.
cruise through. Just
get rid of
no.
them.
Just sit on your couch all day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couch potato. Play video games.
Attaboy, right
Hey,
there.
you'll still be dissatisfied, though, because you're
So
the
I'm not
one
good at
playing
video
and you're
games.
human,
You
so.
can't-
Unfortunately,
yeah, no, I
computers
think one
are
of
smarter.
no, one of my favorite lines or quotes that I think I heard that brought a lot of clarity to me was disappointment stems from unmet expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the Proverbs would even say that, like, hope deferred makes the heart sick. So if you put your hope in something that is not going to pay off, like you're hoping for something to happen that isn't going to happen, you're going to be disappointed, you know? And all disappointment stems from an unmet expectation. You expected something and it didn't happen, and then yeah, you were disappointed. So yeah, and I think there's a lot of, I don't know.
Yeah, because I mean, you have expectations over everything in your life, like especially like young adults, like over the past what is it like a year ago, whatever. I was like expecting a lot out of life, you know. I had hopes in like relationships, and I had hopes in like my work and my school, and then I don't know. Those all like there's times where they satisfy you, like where it's like, oh, this is what I kind of hoped it would be, but then it doesn't. Typically, it don't last. So,
Well, yeah, like what was something you were hoping in? What was like, paint a picture.
well, I mean, there's a few like school wise. It's like I tried a few different careers, and I was like, I'm pretty sure I decided on like something, you know, and like one career, and then turns out school isn't really all that fun. Like, I mean, to an extent, like it is to learn for a while, but then you look at it and it's like, I got like 4 more years left. And it's like, that kind of isn't, I don't know, to an extent that's dissatisfaction, because then you see like, maybe you go into it with a high. I'm sure most people don't feel that like this with school. Maybe it's more like a relationship. And I experienced this too around that same time. Like relationships, it's like you get that first like kind of high of like, man, we get along really well. And this is awesome. And then you kind of see the first road bump, and it's like, wait, this is something I was hoping for long term. And it's like, if there's a road bump of like, I'm satisfied, and then like something bad happens in conflict or something, just goes down. And then it's like, well, this is what I'm looking forward to for the next however many years, you know? And it's like, you realize how kind of really just impermanent most of that stuff is. Like, in that context of like being satisfying, it's rather impermanent.
Like you're talking relationships because there's road bumps.
Yeah, to an extent like that, or, you know, like if you're enjoying a job, you could have a road bump of like, man, like the first few months of this job were awesome. But then something kind of bad happens, like you realize, oh, like my initial, like my starting raise, you know, your typical like evaluation after 6 months, like that was like, oh, maybe they don't appreciate me enough or something, you know, or you don't like a day at work, and then it's like, wait, this could be my future. There's kind of those reality checks, right?
Yeah, and that makes me think, because one of my friends from college, you know, after college, it's been only a few years for both of us now, but like kind of going from job to job, and at each job, it's kind of funny. He's like, you know, super pumped up and amped to be at that job, but then after a few months, it's like, oh, I don't know if I want to be doing this anymore. And it's like, I know I need to go try this. I need to go to this industry. I got to go. You know, I gotta switch it up. It was good, and now it's not good anymore, and I'm disappointed and dissatisfied with it, and I want to move on. So, yeah, that's totally a thing. So what would you guys say to that?
Like, what's the solution?
Yeah, to my friend. Like, yeah.
Well, so I mean, those things like, if you try to find your satisfaction in something that's like outside of you, then it's like all of those worldly, like the things of those things outside of you, things like parts of the world, are just like you have control to some extent, but not really. And so it just, that can't really be your foundation, right? So I mean, I'd just say don't look for satisfaction in those things.
Yeah.
Valid.
Which is, I mean, not really a solution, but
Yeah.
because then what do you put your
satisfaction in?
Yeah, what do you put your hope, like what do you look forward to then? Because if you can't really like look forward to these things that you don't really like, you're a part of, but you don't have total control of, then do you look to yourself, or do you?
Well, you don't want to rely on yourself either, though.
You said, huh?
So you don't want to rely on yourself either, though, because just as much as everything else is going to fail you, you're going to fail yourself.
Yeah, that's a good point. So yeah, I think it's a fair thing. Like, okay, if somebody's getting disappointed by their job, by a relationship, by themselves, whatever, okay, that sounds great, Caleb, Martin, Jade. That sounds great. Expectations, got to get rid of them. But how do you like that? Just I don't know. It's like somebody struggling. I think in my last message at Crew, I came to my conclusion, and that's like I didn't spend any much time working on that. And I think I just said, hey, if you're in sin, just stop. and then when Wyatt starts laughing because he's like, oh yeah, that's really helpful, dude.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I'm like, oh shoot, yeah, how do I? And so I think it could sound like, all right, yeah, if the problem is the unmet expectations, so we just stop. Like, how is that helpful? I don't. And so I think what people need to do is place their expectations and their hope in something that pays off, something that's trustworthy, and something that you can expect to fulfill. And it's kind of like when you're getting, like, one of my friends I used to work with, or no, old coworker I used to have when I was in construction, was telling me kind of about, he used to be heavy into drinking. Like he wasn't, and it wasn't just like a kind of knock the edge off at the end of every day. Not that kind of drinking. It was like he would just once he started drinking, he just couldn't stop. And so he went through AA, and he was telling me kind of like that in order to quit drinking, he had to replace it with something. Like it's not just a cold turkey stop. Like he had to get involved in a group, and and there was a bunch of steps he took to replace that habit with a new one, with a better one. So in the same way, I think we've put our expectations and our hopes in a lot of things that aren't like, it's like the proverb says, hope deferred makes the heart sick. And so we're hoping that something is going to make us happy, which I think is at the root of like being dissatisfied with a job, is like people are willing to work if they're happy. And so I think like the problem with a job not being enough is you're not happy. And in the same with school, like I don't know what people walk into college with, the expectations of how, kind of their community college life or campus life or whatever it is going to go. But I think we're all looking for what's going to make us happy. And if we have if we have our hope and our expectations set on things like ourself, like believe in yourself type kind of mentality, or in the job or in a relationship to make us happy, all of those things are flawed. And so they will let you down. And so we do need to put our expectation in something that won't let us down. And so I was reading the other day about the satisfaction that we can find in God. I think it's Psalm 90. Well, it is not Psalm 90. Psalm 90 talks about being satisfied with God, but I think it's actually Psalm 130 or something like that, where David is kind of listing the benefits, like forget not his benefits. And it kind of gives you, like, he forgives your sin. He has mercy on you. He shows grace to you. And then it says he satisfies your every need and every desire. And that's like kind of a present tense thing, like God satisfies you. And so I think that's where we need to kind of move our expectations to, and our hopes to, and our longing to, is I think we need to hope in God, because Scripture would tell us that, yeah, he's the one who satisfies us.
Okay, but then how do you explain that to people who may not know what that looks like?
Yeah,
how do you
do that?
Yeah, how do you put your hope and expectations and like dream of satisfaction in something that you can't see?
Yeah, no, that's a good question, because it's, yeah. So the Scriptures also would say then, delight yourself in the Lord, another psalm, I think. Or is that a proverb? I think it's a psalm.
Probably says it in both, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. And I think what a lot of people initially think of that verse is like, oh, like, let me just prioritize God and he'll give me everything I want. Like he'll give me the satisfaction, in our context, or he'll give us like the relationship, God designed marriage. I know he has that person for me. And if I just delight myself in God, he'll give me a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whatever it may be. But what that verse is actually saying, it's a little different than that. It's like, It's saying that if you put your delight in the Lord, you spend time in his word, you spend time around his people, you spend time in prayer. If you delight yourself in God, then he will give you the desires of your heart. In other words, he will give you your heart's desires. So he's not saying he's going to give you a girlfriend or a boyfriend or a job or satisfaction necessarily. He's saying that he will educate and inform your desires. If you delight yourself in him, he will change your desires. And I think the thing that keeps us from actually being able to do it is like, honestly, we want things that aren't bad, are bad for us. They're not good for us. And so I think the way we do that is we have to delight ourselves in God. We have to pursue our, if we're not saved, we need to get saved. But for those of us who are saved, the believers that are listening, delight yourself in God. Like, pursue him through his word, pursue him through, his people. And when you do that, you will find that he will give you new desires and he will satisfy those desires. And that's the promise we have. Like, that's one of the benefits we have is like, as a result of walking in the truth and walking with him, he will satisfy us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he promises to give you everything you need. But I think most often people go into that with an uneducated approach on well, they don't understand God's perspective of, because he's the one who judges what you need, right? Because he's the one that actually knows that. You don't, I might think I need a new car or something, I might think I need a nice house, but that isn't truly, needs are based off of his perspective. And then, this is just all in the understanding that he knows better than we do. So that's why he needs to change our desires. And he needs to change, he needs to inform us of what we need. And then, the changing of desires makes you, he's essentially gradually informing you of, these are the things that you actually need. And this is what to actually look for. Talking about spousal relationship, that's what he shows you, what you actually should be looking for. And then typically, he would satisfy that. If it's genuinely a need in your life, then he would give you that. And so then that's just, it's slowly learning to understand what God's perspective of the world is. Because he created it. After all, he created us, so he knows far better than we do.
Yeah, it's like the designer of, whoever built the first car, they decided, and there's different engines, right? There's a gasoline engine, there's a diesel engine, and it's like you can't put diesel in a gas engine. And you can't put gas in a diesel engine. That'll wreck it. And so in the same way, God has designed us, and there's things that make us tick, and we need the right fuel, because the wrong fuel will destroy us. And so, I see what you're saying. That's good. Yeah. So what have you got? What's you guys' experience been when it comes to, finding satisfaction in God, whether that means you're delighting yourself in his word, and then that changing you, or what's your experience been?
Well, one thing I've noticed in my life is before I was saved, I was chasing all kinds of things. I changed schools, my major 2-3 times, was chasing relationships, was chasing friendships, super codependent on that, because I had to continually find something new to bring forth the same amount of satisfaction, and because everything dwindles to a certain extent. And then after getting saved, it was I would, as I was okay, Lord, give me what I actually need, what, learning to be satisfied with just the Lord himself, and knowing, and humbling myself, knowing that I can't provide what I need. Nobody else can provide what I need. Only the Lord can do that. It's all of a sudden he was bringing forth things that I hadn't even thought of as a need or even a want, really. And it was something that I wasn't looking for. And it was oh, that is more satisfying than anything I was chasing. And I didn't even think about that as something I would want or need.
Yeah, so what's an example?
See, I get the concept. I don't have anything to back it up. Well, honestly, my job right now, always had a desire to work with kids, but I was waitressing and bartending for a long time, and I had a lot of satisfaction in that because I love serving people, loved it, and then the satisfaction dwindled and didn't want to do that anymore. And in looking for a new job, I was looking for something similar to that. Had really no, I wasn't like, oh, I need to work with kids right now. Like I didn't really think about it. And then this nanny opportunity like presented itself to me. Well, I wasn't looking for it. And I'm exhausted at the end of the day, but in the most satisfying way.
Yeah,
Like it's like this is, I didn't even think about working with children all day long as a job opportunity.
Yeah.
And now it's probably one of the most satisfying things I feel like I do with my life.
Yeah, that's good. So have you guys, for the people listening who maybe struggle to understand or even be able to relate to the idea of being satisfied in God, what have you been satisfied by God? Like, what would you say to people who haven't experienced that? You know what I mean? Like, can God really satisfy you to where, oh, you don't need a significant other, or you don't need that,
Like
you
essentially,
don't need pornography. You don't need.
yeah. So you're saying like his presence alone, essentially, and like not just because she was speaking about kind of how I guess I don't want to say more materialistic things, but like what he gives you in the world. Your question is more like just simply in his presence, like just finding joy in his presence. I mean, that sounds like kind of a vague thing to say, but I can expound.
Yeah. Like, what does that mean? Like, yeah, I mean, finding satisfaction in what has God given you to do, that's good. That's great. When it comes to like the scriptures that say he like that Psalm 130 or something, he satisfies you. Is that true in your own life? Like, what would you say to that? That could be.
Yeah. I think one of the most like tangible examples of it that happened like beginning of this year was like kind of, so I'd say I got saved like a few months before, like probably about a year ago, winter of last year. And at that time that like came from essentially my life before was chasing a relationship, like friendship and a relationship, and I got broken up with. And then like, because that was something I'd idolized in my mind for a while, and I had it, and then it was gone. And that was a whole other thing of how so briefly satisfying that relationship was, right? And so, as I started seeking the things of God and getting into like good community, essentially, I started meeting a lot of people, and then that meant that there was a bunch of like, there was a few different girls that were like wanted to be in relationship with me, right? And then, but there was just like, there was no draw to that at the time for sure. Like there wasn't, not that I had lost all attraction or anything, not that I'd like lost my desire for marriage or anything, but my desire to learn what God's desires were and like God's design for my life, my desire for that trumped all of that. Like, so just simply like being in his presence and learning about him and learning about what he says about me was the most satisfying thing in that time, because the thing that I had idolized so much, I had right there. It was like 3 different opportunities where all I had to do was say yes. And I didn't take it because it was like, I don't see that would be a distraction from the things that I actually want to be doing. And the thing that I wanted to be doing was understanding God better and getting to know him better, because I began to understand that he was far more satisfying than those things. And that's not to say that you can't have those things and be satisfied by God, but it's just simply at that time I didn't just my desire to like
it's putting first things first.
Yeah.
Because because I would say that I relate to that quite a bit too. Like even like when I was younger, before coming to Christ, like the biggest thing that I wanted out of life was a relationship, like just somebody who knew me, who got me, somebody who knew me super well, and kind of like we knew each other like nobody else, best friend type of deal. And so that's kind of what I was hoping when I got the right girl. She was pretty enough, she was kind enough, she was not perfect, like not cringy. When I got that person, then I would just have it all. And through a series of events, I realized like I can't. That's not going to satisfy. And so I remember when I got saved, I had opportunities like where there would be some of these girls that, but previously I would have dated right away. And it was just like, I didn't like I just didn't want to ruin what I had with God. And I remember thinking like, that will satisfy me for as long as that honeymoon phase lasts, or until there's an argument, or until something. And I know that. And so there's a part of me that wants that, but what I have in God is eternal. And I don't want to put myself in a position where I'm in a relationship that brings me away from the eternal joy, from the eternal satisfaction that I have in my walk with God. And so that was kind of like similar, it sounds like, to what you went through, where it's like I got to put the first things first. And like kind of going back to my friend, who has struggled to be satisfied with the jobs that he's been in. If he puts the first thing first, if he seeks God, and then God will satisfy him. And out of a place of satisfaction, he's going to go to work, and he's going to be a great coworker. His bosses are going to love him, and his work is no longer going to be the one thing he's living for, And so that's going to free him up to be able to sit through some more mundane months or weeks even, because his work is not what satisfies him, it's God. And that, I think that's the same for like for relationships that we're in as well. Like if we find our satisfaction in God, then really everything flows out of our relationship with God. And so it will spread and bless other things, So, but yeah, first things first, we have to get our walk with God right. So.
Okay, so then if we're placing our expectations in the Lord, which we should, but then are we supposed to have zero expectations of the people that we're with? If they're just going to fail us anyways, why put expectations on them? I feel like that opens up a broad opportunity of just ending up with.
Yeah, I think that's a good question, because I've heard people say that, like, even in ministry, right? Hey, just come hang out with us, and we'll be your friends, and this is a place where you can belong, and it's not like you're not drinking or swearing or anything like that. Like, it's a pretty kosher community. Come and join us. And my experience with that has been disappointment, because it doesn't, even if you do find like your best friends, they're not going to satisfy you the same way God does. So when I think you have to adjust your expectations. I think you have to adjust your expectations. Anytime you go into a relationship, and you're looking for how they can satisfy you or serve you, that's a selfish motive, and you're gonna that's gonna come back and bite you. How do I say that? How is that gonna come back and bite you? You're gonna be disappointed. Anytime you go into a relationship with the mindset of how can they serve me, you're going to get disappointed, because chances are they have that same mindset to some level. Like, all of us struggle with selfishness. And so, and they can't be that person. So the ministries where, I kind of heard that, all you need is friends. You just need community, like big emphasis on the community part. The community is going to let you down. You need to have to set your expectations and hope in God alone. And I think there's so many Psalms, so many scriptures that say that we have to hope in God alone. And we can have relationships with other people. But I think the best relationships, I know the best relationships that I've had in my life are where they're not the point. Like they're a blessing that God has given me, but they're not what satisfies me. And like, I remember one of my first jobs, my coworkers and I, after a few years of being there, it was like, and it was not a great job. I didn't like the job, but what got me through it was like, I'm here for a purpose. I'm trying to get money. I'm grinding, and then I'm going to leave, and that's kind of why I was able to be there through the mundane. But I looked back after a couple of years, and I had some really great relationships with my coworkers, and I didn't go in looking for that. And even when I came to work, it wasn't to work with so-and-so. It was, I got to get money. And so I got to do a good job. And I formed relationships with people who were pursuing the same things. And those turned into some really great relationships, because it was not about them. It was about the goal we were moving toward. And so I think we need to put first things first, and hope in God alone first. And then the people that are around us that are also putting their hope and trust in God, the people that God has saved, we're going to find some really incredible friendships and relationships. but that's not the focus. The focus is God, and those things will come. And so I think we need to kind of evaluate our friends, like the circles we're in right now. And if you're disappointed in friendships, I think you need to adjust your expectations. I think you just need to, okay, why am I disappointed? Is that a me thing? Am I just expecting too much of them? Are they kind of like what I'm looking to for my satisfaction? Or so do I have to adjust that? Or are there things they're not perfect? Are there things they're doing that I just need to kind of, that's who they are, and I just gotta have to adjust to that and kind of decide what boundaries I'm going to put in place. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a few things within that, like you reminded me of the idea, like what you said about essentially that you get friendships by not focusing on getting a friendship, which is dumbed down. But I mean, the idea that I've heard is that friendships are shoulder to shoulder looking at the same truth. So if the same truth is that, man, we both really want a friend, that isn't really something to agree upon. That isn't something, if I was trying to be friends with you and I was just so desperate, like, man, I just want to be friends with you. I have nothing, like, I could like change my life to have something in common with you, but that's not genuine. There's nothing that we actually connect on. And I'm just looking for a friendship. And
Well, I think the problem with that is like what you're saying is if both of you are trying to cater to each other, you're trying to reach a standard that's constantly moving. So you'll never actually, so like in other words, like if I really want to be friends with so-and-so, I might carry myself in a way that they might like, or I'm going to try to carry myself in a way that I think they will like, which is not concrete. It's always moving. And so it's going to be a very unstable kind of people-pleasy, like constantly, what's the person, there's different personality types. The compliant, I think usually compliance typically are like that, where it's just like, man, I really want a friend. Oh, I really want a friend. And then it's like, they have a hard time leveling with each other. And it's hard to develop that close friendship just because you want to, because that standard is always moving. And the fact of the matter, like the reality is that good friends are always pursuing the same things and they're shoulder to shoulder. And what they're pursuing cannot be each other. Like that doesn't work,
Yeah, because getting back to like, essentially, the only concrete thing that you can hope in that won't let you down is God and His unchanging character, right? And anything about this world is changing. Like your job, and then anything about other people, anything about yourself is changing. All of that is changing. It's not a concrete thing to stand on. So in that example of like, if I want a friend because I want a friend, that is so like, essentially you're looking to them as a savior, synchronized.
Bro, I saw the toe of the boot come up. I was like, what the? I forgot.
Someone's gonna kick me, bro.
What are these called again? The koozies?
Yeah.
Boot koozies?
Boot koozies.
Booty koozies?
Oh, chill, bro.
Wait, hang on.
I was about to go off, and then you just like said booty koozie, and now you're screwing up my vibe.
Take a deep breath, reel it back in.
Go ahead.
You got it.
Yeah, I got it. So essentially, like, it's a concept I've heard, and I don't know if I can articulate it correctly. Clearly, I can't because my tongue's gonna spin up in circles trying to say that word.
Spit it out. Go ahead. You got it.
But like, you're looking to them as a savior. You're looking to them to save you from your mundane life. Like, I'm so bored. I just want a really, really good friend that I could get and relate to, and they can get me and they relate to me. But that is like, you're looking to them to save you from yourself, from your other circumstances, from everything else that's intangible, that's just not concrete. And then you look to another person for something concrete. And that's a problem in itself, because you can't find satisfaction in yourself because you're not concrete. And you can't find anything in the world because it's not concrete. And then you're looking to another person who's in the world for something concrete. And it just isn't like,
just a lot of water.
Nothing
just
will ever.
Water over there. No,
it's all fluid. It's all intangible. It just will never stay the same to satisfy. And I mean, to get into like I was going to say brain chemistry. I know nothing about that. Just simply like the theology of it. I mean, we're made to be in community with God. And so anything else will not satisfy the same way. So if we try to make something that, it just won't work. So, but
Yeah, so I do want to make a clarification, though, just in case, that it's okay to. So when I say you can't pursue people, what I'm talking about with the clarification that like you have to have the first things first. You have to put God first. You can pursue people after that, and I think though, what we're saying all makes sense. But just to clarify, when you're pursuing God together, you can expect and even want and make an effort and pursue relationships intentionally within that. So just in case anyone was confused by that, but you do have to put the first things first and God first because of like what you're saying, like, he's faithful. I think, and that's kind of a Christian cliche, like, oh, God is faithful. And it's because it's true, but I think if you say something long enough and you grow up hearing it, you don't know what it means. And so the idea that God is faithful is just like consistent, like every single time. Like he provides, he takes care of us, he forgives us faithfully, he has mercy on us faithfully, he has grace towards us faithfully, and he sanctifies us faithfully. He disciplines us faithfully. There's just so many things that he's like he consistently does, and the result of walking with him is satisfaction. He satisfies your soul. He satisfies your soul.
Yeah, what's that verse in Philippians where Paul talks about, I found the secret to...
In every circumstance to be content.
Yeah, so it's contentment, that's the word that he uses, which is essentially he's satisfied in abundance and need, and forget the exact... Remember what it is? I was looking it up, I could not find it, but that's just... I mean, that's a great description of what God gives you. Like, brother, his life was terrible. Like, he was everybody wanted to kill him. And yet he was able to say that he has found the secret to essentially satisfaction in life.
I'm looking it up now because I just listened to something the other day where they talked about this and it was so good. That's a good thing to...
Yeah, you'll find it, bro. I trust you. Shoot, I gotta clean my shoes.
Thank the Lord for ChatGPT. I'm not using ChatGPT though. I'm using Safari. Okay,
and that's him right there, bro. Top of the page. AI overview.
Oh shoot, yeah, Google, huh?
Learn something new every day.
Yeah, we do.
AI's everywhere. AI will never satisfy.
No.
AI can help
Are
you
sure?
with your...
Yo, some people might need to hear that.
Bro, AI will not be your girlfriend.
No.
But they're so good at talking. But it's so good at talking.
Oh, dude, Brody confessed his undying love to
Bro, I'm not even
ChatGPT
gonna lie.
the other
When
day.
I'm like doing some business stuff and I'm like trying to bounce some ideas off chat, and it says, "Wow, that's such a great idea.
You
really
want a first-
insightful."
you want a first name
I can really
basis,
see
bro?
your character there. Like I can see your creative spark through that question. Like you're just such a great person. Oh no.
We died.
We died.
And yet we live.
Dude, praise
Despairing
God.
of life.
I think we should. We'll end.
Dead in our trespasses and sins.
Okay, we'll end with this.
Ooh, hit that long first.
Yeah, robot. Okay, not that I speak in regard to the brother. Okay, Philippians 4:12. I know how to be abased and I know how to abound. We're switching.
A base? He's based, bro?
Bro.
Shoot, I didn't know Paul was based.
Oh, I didn't know
Questionable.
you were based like that. Huh?
Shoot.
I know how to be brought low and I know how to abound in every
What
any
version
and every
are you in?
bro.
Are you in message?
No, I'm in the extra sinful version.
Oh.
That is not the word.
ESV. That's what you got on the table right now.
Shoot. Oh.
Shoot. I know how to be brought low and I know how to abound. In any and every circumstance, I have learned the secret of facing plenty and hunger, abundance and need. Boom. Okay, we should have started with this. This literally has the whole thing in it. Ready?
All right,
He's
restart.
learned. This is the key for all you out there who are trying to figure out how to find satisfaction in life. He's going to tell you. He's like, I've learned. I've had a lot. I've had a little. I've had more than enough, less than enough. Like I've been through it all. I've been hungry. I've been, satisfied. Hungry and satisfied, right? I can, and this is the key. Verse 13, I can do all things through him who gives me strength. Nobody started clapping.
Yeah, I can win the baseball game.
Come on. Oh, shoot. Yeah. This is, yeah. So, no, but that's the key. I can do all things through him. What's all things? He just listed a bunch of things. I can have abundance. I can have nothing. I can have much. I can have little through Christ who gives me strength. And so he's got his first things first. That's the title of this episode. First things first.
I'll prophesy.
I prophesy. And so he's got his first things first. He can do all things through Christ who gives him strength. And so he might, dude, all our lights
Trying to kick
dying
us
left and right. Which is fine because we're a little over 30 minutes, but he can do all things through Christ who gives him the strength. He can do the thing, but Christ is the one giving him the strength to do the thing. And that's how he's able to do that. That's how he's able to find satisfaction. And so the conclusion of the matter, kind of the application, I would say, if you're looking for satisfaction, you're not going to find it by looking for it. Like satisfaction is not an end goal, something to look to aim your life towards.
Yeah.
It's like what's that? JP had like a good Instagram reel a while back, and he was just kind of calling people out, like, listen, most of you aren't on a truth journey, you're on a happiness journey. Whatever makes me happy, I'm going to do that. And whenever we do that, it always leads to dysfunction. Sometimes on a mass scale and sometimes on a smaller scale. But whenever you make satisfaction, happiness, joy the pursuit of your life, you're going to be disappointed because why? Because hope deferred makes the heart sick. And satisfaction is not an end. Satisfaction is something that comes along with the means. I think it is an end. It's not the means, no.
Yeah, you don't get there by seeking satisfaction. Like you get there by seeking something meaningful, and you get satisfaction from it.
Which in this case would be delight yourself in God. He can do all things through Christ who gives him strength. And so we're looking to Christ. We look to Christ. We look to his word, which is the easiest and most applicable way to just do that is just to, many people are biblically illiterate, like get in the word. And the word has spending time in the Psalms, listening to music that's singing God's word, that's when I found myself most tangibly and experientially satisfied with God. It's true, before Christ, I would never have known what that even looked like. But after being saved, it's like the word comes alive and it's like, there's satisfaction there. But I think literally every time I've gone into my time in God's word with the intention of finding satisfaction is when I get it the least. But when I'm just opening it up to see what God says, to try to understand him, then I find myself satisfied because it's good truth. I mean, he cares for us. So,
yeah.
All right. Call it good?
Yes, sir.
All right. Listen, we'll see you guys next time in another episode of Caffeinated Conversations.